So we've talked about animal products and byproducts and why they're so important and what kind of economic impact that has on North Carolina. And in this video, I'm going to go over some of the different issues in the animal agriculture industry. And what I mean by issues are animal rights issues and animal welfare issues. And there is a difference between the two, and that's what we are going to talk about. So we're going to start with animal welfare. And animal welfare supporters believe in the humane treatment of animals. So they believe in using animals for human purposes. For example, meat products, clothing, leather, that sort of thing. But they believe that animals should be well nourished, they should be housed properly, and of course they oppose the cruel treatment of animals. So most producers and researchers believe in animal welfare. They also support scientific information being the basis for any decisions or laws that are made related to animal welfare. They want to make sure that animals are cared for properly. It can be difficult to assess animal comfort, mainly because you can't walk up to your dog and say, "Hey, Fluffy, how you doing today? Are you comfortable? Can I get you an extra blanket in your crate?" You can't really do that. You can't talk to animals, and there's no really universally accepted measures to use for determining animal comfort. We don't have a scale where we can accurately measure how comfortable an animal is. There's two main laws that protect animals that you're responsible for knowing. There's the Animal Welfare Act and there's the Health Research Extension Act. The Animal Welfare Act sets the standards for minimum care and treatment of any animals that are used for commercial sale, research, any animals that might be transported commercially or exhibited to the public. So exhibition would be things like the zoo or an animal show, something like that. The Animal Welfare Act was originally passed in 1966, but it's been revised a couple different times, most recently in 2008, so about 10 years ago. And then the Health Research Extension Act was passed in 1985, and this sets the standards of care for animals that are used in biomedical and behavioral research specifically. So the Health Research Extension Act really focuses on animals used for research, whereas Animal Welfare Act really handles everybody. All right, animal rights. The main difference between animal welfare and animal rights is that animal welfare supporters believe in using animals for human purposes, but making sure that they are treated appropriately. Whereas animal rights supporters believe that animals should not be used by humans at all for any reason. The largest animal rights organization in the U.S. is the Humane Society. And really, the whole issue of animal rights versus animal welfare and moral issues related to animals, even though we might not have had a name for it, this issue has really been around for thousands of years, all the way back to the ancient Greeks. So if we're looking at the two of them compared to each other, animal welfare involves good treatment of animals, whereas animal rights means that animals are not used at all by humans. In fact, animal rights would take it a step further and actually say, well, because humans are also technically animals, animals should have the same rights that humans do. That's how I remember it. So animal rights wants animals to have the same rights as people, whereas animal welfare is like, they can hang out, we can use them, but we're going to make sure they're treated properly. Animal welfare groups are typically less radical in their activities than rights groups. Rights groups can get a little bit radical sometimes. Rights movement supporters typically are vegetarians. So again, they believe that animals should not be used by people for any purpose. This would include for food. So they obviously are going to be vegetarians. A lot of times nowadays they're also vegans. Animal producers and researchers are usually supporters of animal welfare because they believe in treating animals properly and providing them with proper nutrition and housing and all of that, but not animal rights, because that wouldn't make any sense. They wouldn't have a job if they were animal rights supporters. Because if they're producing animals for human purposes or researching animals, again, for human purposes, they're going to be taking care of these animals properly, but they're using animals for a human purpose. So they would not be an animal rights supporter. They would support animal welfare. As always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or accusations. Otherwise, thanks for watching.